Hey there, good morning. I'm going to tell some stories here today about how your talent could be wasted if you are not using the right strategy. And trigger alert, if you're triggered by truthful discussion that uses certain words to really describe what's really happening there, then you shouldn't watch this because this video could make you angry or sad or disappointed. So be very careful in watching this because I'm going to use a certain word. So, just as soon as you hear that word, you just click it off. But um, so people play some strategies that are dumb. They play dumb strategies. And I'm sorry, but it's just true because what is being dumb? It's the opposite of being smart, right? So let's direct our thoughts towards being smart. So I'm going to tell a couple different stories about strategies and tactics that were smart and ones that were not so smart. So, and some of them from very sort of surprising people, players that you would think would have more intelligence and whatnot. So, um, all right, I'll start with one myself. All right, so my doubles partner and I were playing two guys that I thought were better than us in every way, and they had a bigger pedigree. And I was afraid of being embarrassed before going into the match. So that fear of embarrassment uh, got me activated to the point where I actually played the best tennis of my life on this particular day. So, so my partner and I, we were hitting really high kick serves, bouncing up really high and not particularly fast, and we were getting a lot of high returns back. And we were up a set and a break against these guys, and it was pretty shocking. And then, just from a point of pride, I wanted to see if I could, hit a flat serve to this one guy and catch him off guard and see if I could, that would like pop their bubble, if I could just drive them nuts, right? So, well, it turns out to be about the dumbest thing that I could have done because I hit this flat serve. He teed off on it because he loves that pace. And then he just about took my partner's head off. And then they got together and they rallied and they came back and beat us. Oh, what was I thinking? Stick to the game plan. Stick to the game plan. We had those guys befuddled. All right, but here's the main story that I wanted to tell is that I had been invited to a high school playoff match between two really good teams in my area. And it was these two girls playing. One of them was ranked number 17 in NorCal, and the other one number 20. And both of these are future college tennis players about to play. So anyway, so I'm watching this match, and number 20 is doing okay, but number 17 just really seems to like that ball at waist height and even below. A very flat hitter, and but really good at waist high balls and below. And so she's just hitting really flat, pretty low net clearance, which in women's tennis is pretty tough because moving forward and getting low is a little more difficult for the women. For men, moving sideways is more difficult, but for women, moving forward is more difficult, relatively speaking. So so number 20, the girl that I'm trying to help, it keeps hitting this ball to her, you know, right where she wants it, right into the hitting zone that is her favorite, so she can produce these hard, fast, lower shots. And then an interesting thing that would happen though, she'd get stretched out, number 20, all right? We'll call her Alyssa, all right? Alyssa versus Becky. We'll just make up some names, all right? So Alyssa gets pulled out wide. She throws a ball up in the air, and then Becky hits a ball short, right? And then Alyssa just rallies the next shot, and then some more rallies go on, and Becky hits another ball up in the air, and Becky hits the ball and it lands right around the service line, and this starts to go on and on like that. So so Becky gets up a break, and at 5, now, yeah, it was 3-2 for Becky, up a break. And so I went to Alice, Alyssa, and I said, hey, look, if you hit that ball up, in the air, she seems to hit short, right? And then you have a short ball that you can do anything you want with. You can come in and attack it. You can try to, you can go for a forcing shot, a winner. You can go for a cross court angle. You could hit a drop shot. You can hit an approach shot, come to the net. I mean, once you get that short ball, all of your options are open. So anyway, so she goes on and plays, and she continues to hit most of her shots into the hitting area of the opponent, where she really likes it. So then it was 5-2 on the next changeover. So, now I'm being a little more urgent. I'm like, hey, look, I've been looking at your match very carefully, and 90% of the time that you hit the ball above her shoulder level, she gives you a short ball. So that gives you a 1-2 punch. You hit it up, you get the short ball, and then you do it. And she says to me this. She says, well, no, I need to get more balls in play. I need to be more consistent. And I'm like, okay. And see, this to me is this problem with this word consistency. So her private coach and probably her parent and the other people that she plays with, they go consistency. But they have no thinking about how one shot that you hit is the first part of a shot combination, and then after you get the shot that you want from the first shot, then you hit to the other place to do the other thing that you want. They're not thinking about that. So here, dumbly, what she's going to do is she's going to hit to her opponent's strength and then expect herself to run down that next shot, instead of hitting the ball to a place that makes the other player uncomfortable, hitting to a relative weakness, and then being ready to pick off the next shot. That shows me a lack of intelligent play. So this, to me, this match was very winnable by number 20. I mean, extremely winnable. I mean, it might have been a close win, but with the real predictability of that, where, I mean, 90 or more than 90% of the time, you hit the ball up high, you get the short ball, you do whatever you want. I mean, I'm assuming she's got other skills. She seemed to be okay at the net. I don't know if she'd ever worked on any touch in her game. I don't know if she'd ever worked on any ability to hit short top spin angle shots. You need all of those things. But if you're just relegated to running around and making one more shot and hitting the ball into your opponent's favorite strike zone, you're losing more than you should. You need to be able to win those matches. So as it stood, I think she lost like 6-3, 6-2, and it was pretty routine, and she never changed. And then, I went to the head coach because, the coach kind of deputized me to be able to do some on-court coaching on that day. And I went to her and I said, can you urge this girl to do this? I mean, because she's already, now that she's down a set and a break, is it time for her to consider doing something different? But her mantra was the same. I just need to be more consistent. That makes me sad, because to me it was a winnable match. Anyway, so another one was interesting. I had a kid, and this was in individual play, in high school. So, but it's the North Coast section tournament, and that's a big deal to our high school kids. In California, I mean, with 40 million people, our sections are sometimes akin to a state title in some smaller states. So it's a big deal, you know. I mean, this is out of like 145 schools. So out of 145 schools, then, 16 people get to play in this tournament. So anyway, my kid wins a difficult 3-set match, but then he's ranked number 66, and he's gonna meet number 12, right? And nobody gave my kid a chance to win the match. So anyway, so we cooked up this game plan. It was going to be a disruptive style, so it's everything but the kitchen sink, and so he's hitting high, low, fast, slow, short, deep, angle, body, just everywhere. More topspin, less topspin, slice, lob. So you get the point. Everything but the kitchen sink. And he got this kid out of rhythm. And so he lost the first set 6-3, but clearly the strategy was starting to get to the other kid as the longer that went on. So rather than switch strategy after losing the first set 6-3, he just continued and tried to execute a little bit better. And what we tried to do is try to figure out which of those particular shots bothered him the most, right? I can't remember which one it was. So, we eliminated some of the shots that just didn't bother him at all, and then focused on the ones that bothered him the most. And then so Shreyas wins the second set, and he's up a break in the third set. And then what does he do? He decides that he wants to hit with the kid for a couple of games. So, he's got the match. He's in charge of the match at this point, but then he decides that he wants to go toe to toe with him on ground strokes, and even come to try to finish at the net a little bit. And I'll tell you what, those two games were done in under 5 minutes, and he lost his break of serve. So on that changeover, I was like, you know what? That was not smart. You have to stick with the game plan. Stick with the game plan. If you go away from your game plan, those are the kinds of things that can happen. So you have to play smart, and you have to know what it is that's going to bother the other person. And see, the problem is that we sometimes forget that we're the second most important player on the court. That's a Craig O'Shaughnessy quote, right? Is that you're the second most important person. The first thing that you need to do is not play to your opponent's strength. You have to play everywhere else but their strength. Very few players can actually go at somebody's strength and break them down. I mean, that's kind of crazy, but that's something that Federer would do sometimes. Was he would play his forehand against somebody else's really good forehand, but then he's got the best forehand in the world, so he could crush somebody's confidence by going at their best shot and beating them that way, and then they just are lost. So, but that is not advisable to many, many, many players. I mean, it's a very small percentage of people who can execute that. So, this goes way back. I mean, Bill Tilden said this in Match Play and the Spin of the Ball. He said, discover what your opponent's favorite shot is and never give it to them. And then find out what their worst shot is and give them a steady diet of that. Although I think, though, you want to be careful not to overdo it. If you have found their weakness, you want to hit to it selectively. So, like once a point, or really focusing on a particular point that you really want to win, because you don't want to continue. You want to hit shot after shot after shot to that one spot, because you might actually help them improve that shot on the day. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to overdo it. it's more important to avoid their strength than it is to attack their weakness, over and over and over again. But I mean, you can do it different ways, I suppose. So you can serve at it with different spins. You can hit at it with your forehand with different spins and do it differently. But don't hit them the same shot over and over and over again, because they're going to get better at that shot on the day. And then you're going to wish you hadn't done that. So play smart, observe your opponent, try to find out, how do they like that ball? Do they like it high or do they like it low? Some people who slice a lot really like those low balls, because they love to take the ball off of their shoes and slice it back to you and give you no pace. It's not a lot of fun, right? And other people, like the shoulder high ball, because that's when they come and they really come across and they can really jam that thing. I mean, I know for sure that there have been a handful of players. I mean, I don't know how many, but who eat my kick serve for lunch. They just love that ball coming up, and they step forward. They take it closer to the bounce, and they take it at shoulder height and they crush it. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess kick serve, no more kick serves today, or not a lot of them anyway. Maybe it's a surprise tactic, but slice serves flat. I have to attack this person differently. And then you meet people who are so quick and so good at angles. You hit your slice serve, they get there, they hit a crazy angle on you, and you're just like, wait a minute, I can't give them that, right? So, and then you have people who will stand way back and use the pace of your flat serve, right? So, they'll give you a really strong shot back because they're using all of your pace, and they're not phased by the speed of it. Well, that's when you need to use the slice serve to pull them out wide, because that ball's not coming to them. So, there are all these different ways to attack people. And you have to consider that it's not about your so-called consistency. Of course you need to make shots. Of course you have to hit targets. Of course you want to be able to hit shots in a row. But you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to make some errors. It's not about consistency. It's about hitting the ball where you want to hit it and knowing where you want to hit it. And I'll conclude with this. Unfortunately, the time-honored tradition of using the word consistency, which people generally means don't miss, that time-honored tradition has created these situations where a player goes into a match and they're not thinking about their opponent's weaknesses. They're just thinking they have to run around and make one more ball. So, I hope that when Alyssa went on to college tennis, that her coach taught her differently. But somehow I just don't imagine that it happened. And, then unfortunately her talent is wasted to some degree, because she's losing matches that she could win if she played more intelligently. So anyway, that's it for today. Go ahead and use your social digital currency. It just takes that finger to go like, subscribe, and then write me a comment. I want to hear what you have to say. I definitely want to know what you're thinking. I do believe today is the day that I'm going to push the button to upload Tennis Strategy 101 as a print book. It's probably going to take up to a week for me to be able to start pushing that out, because I have to look at some proofs and whatnot. So anyway, thanks for watching. The ebook of Tennis Strategy 101 is available. It is currently $4.97. In a few days' time, I may knock that back down to 99 cents. If you're interested in that, send me a comment. and I can't wait to talk to you. All right.